A little off kilter. A little off kilter. What is that glitch? So I got my wife this is a while ago. Like I potentially I probably should be better about the gift thing, but she likes gifts, and I haven't got her too many gifts. But one of the gifts I got her was that is a Toad Hot Wheels car. We like Mario Kart. So, like I said, I could not doing everything perfect in the mayor's department, and I'm trying. I don't want to get too down on myself. I'm trying, but yeah, she likes gifts. Marriage is hard. Marriage is hard. Come on, camera. Goodness me. We good? We're almost there. There we go. All right. But yeah. I could get her more gifts. Money's like, it's hard with money though. You know what I mean? I'm look at me. I'm going all over the place. I'm using excuses and stuff like for money. I apologize, but I could be doing some things better. But enough about me. Enough about me. Let's bring up where we were. Hold on a second. I randomly lost internet today. So yeah, I needed to bring everything up. Sorry for all the side chat about marriage and stuff like that. It's a hard time in life right now. I'll be honest with you. Hard time in life. Marriage is very hard. But there are certain things that I'm just like, I feel like I'm trying. But there are some things I could be doing better with. Because my wife, one of her love languages is gifts. And so, there's a lot of layers, but that's one of the things where I'm like, I kind of feel like I could. I mean, it's a complicated situation, but I don't know. I might be able to be doing better with that. That's the only thing I need to be working on, though. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. Okay. So, here we are. This is going to be a one video, one exercise night tonight because I have to get up tomorrow. And I also have a video that I'm working on down here. Oh yeah, you can just barely see that. But yeah, so don't want to be up too. I mean, I might be up late. It's already technically speaking late, but I want to keep working on other videos down here and stuff, editing work, and then yeah, next week should be different. It's been man, I've been very busy this week doing all kinds of stuff. I've been out like doing social stuff way more than I usually do. It's been almost every single day this week. I've been seeing somebody, and yeah, so it's been good. Don't get me wrong, it's been good, but yeah, next week should be a little more back to normal. So for tonight, one video. Without further ado, thank you for humoring me with all my talk about life and stuff like that. There's a lot more that could be said, but I won't. I won't. Let's do it.
So now we're going to wrap up and talk a little bit about how strings and lists are related. They're sort of related in that they both have zero-based things, and we use the square bracket operator.
Also, I've never mentioned this before on stream. Forgive this. Forgive that. My dad helped me build this computer, and when I did, this was a number of years ago, and when I was building it, I was newly married, and I did not buy Windows, and so it's been like this for as long as I've had this computer. Sorry, I'd like to buy it, get rid of it sometime, but like I mentioned earlier, money's hard. But anyway, man alive, this is just the digressing stream today. But I'm gonna stop yammering. I can keep on going. Anyway, here we
go. To do various things. But there's a lot of situations where we're looking at our data and we're combining the use of lists and
best friends. Oh, strings and lists. ABC equals with 3 words. Stuff equals ABC dot split. Split is not strip. Okay? That's where my brain kind of went to strip first. Print stuff. Oh. With 3 words. With 3 words. Print length of stuff 3. Print stuff 0 with print stuff with 3 words. Print W for for W. For W in stuff. Print W. What? For W in stuff. What's this? Why is the space like that? With 3 words. Oh, that's interesting. It printed. Oh, my light died. That's why. Oh, I guess we're going light list today, folks. Sorry about that. Here, let's see if I can. That should accommodate. It's a different screen over here. Where were we? So for W, I'm all over the place. For W and stuff. Print W. So this is just print stuff with 3 words, but this is the where it iterates through stuff. So this is just with 3 words, all one deal in a way. But this is like with 3 words. Split breaks a string into parts and produces a list of strings. Huh. We think of these as words. We can access a particular word or loop through all the words. Oh, whoops. I read that wrong. We can access a particular word or loop through all the words.
Strings. So let me show you the first thing, probably the coolest thing. We're going to use it a lot the rest of the class, and that is the split function. So let's take a string. We've got ABC here. It's with 3 words. What we're interested in, the fact, is that there's spaces in this word. And what split does is says, you know, I'm going to look through this thing, I'm going to find this, and I'm going to break this into pieces, and I'm going to return you a list of the separate individual pieces. So look for blanks and break it in pieces and give me back the pieces. So I'll print these out, and now you see that it's a list with 3 items, with 3 words. The spaces are gone, but it's given it to us. So it's like, split this into words, please, and give me the individual words, and give me a list of individual words rather than a big long string with spaces in the middle of it. And that is a quick way to go from a line, and it's really common A lot of things were going like, go get the second thing or the third thing or whatever. So the split's really nice because then you can just grab stuff. And so you say, oh, how many things did I get? Well, I got 3. The len function tells us that. And I can print the first word I got, which is with the sub-0, and that'll be like with, will be the first word because that's the sub-0 position. So I read something, I split it, I can say there's 3 things, and I can look at stuff, the first word basically, without really knowing much. Now if you remember earlier, and we'll see this, we used find and slicing to do a similar kind of thing, but people tend to prefer the split. And you can, oops, go back. You can.
I'm sorry, when did we mess with find? I can't remember what find is. Oh, look at us, huh? Was it reading?
Hello and welcome. It was like being called the open function. You really write files with txt, and that is a file of your wrap. And in file and behavior, that the way when we in line,
it's like
this line here looks like. So we're going to us or other languages, they have to line out and say line count is 100 lines if you want. Have a prefix is a new line in it. So you actually, instead of making the file name be a constant to the input runs, we type in a good file and then do something interesting. That
Fine.
Hello and welcome. Things are kind of like couples. Well, second item is another list. So that's why this prints off y4, 3, 2, 1. And
like
it runs 3 times, once free. I am. So that's what prints Glenn. Not changed. Inside to say, don't just put it in for a minute. So range takes whatever's in this list. So friend is just going to, we make these 2 loops.
I don't remember, fam.
Okay, so they expanded in an empty list, and then one on it sorts it. And min, go through and ask for numbers until we type the word done, and then it's actually computing something with.
Oh, here we go. This might be where it is.
So now we're going to dig into strings a bit. Differently as a logical operator, so we're using it as an, if I have hello Bob with an 8 and taking, and this is showing all the different string within a string, right? Find me a substring within a string, so find me the first NA.
Oh, here we go. Finds the first occurrence. Right. I get it. I remember now. Sorry, everybody.
Also then loop through them, so you can split these things into stuff as a word and then go through with W, and also then loop through them. So see this, we used find and slicing to do a similar kind of thing, but people tend to prefer the split. And you can oops, go back. You can also then loop through them, so you can split these things into stuff as a word and then go through with W, and then it's going to go through. W is going to take the successive with 3 words, and so you can make a loop by reading some data, splitting it, and then writing a for loop, and then it's effectively going through the words in that line of data. And so that's a really powerful concept that we'll use in a lot of the programs that we're going to write. Just a
line a lot of spaces, etc. equals line dot split. Print, etc. A lot of spaces just gets rid of the actual spaces. Line equals first, second, third thing equals, good heavens, what's going on here? Oh, this is a new deal. Line equals first, second, third. Line equals line dot split. First, or excuse me, print thing. First, second, third. Semicolons don't. Oh. Wait, what? That kind of keeps it all together. Print length of thing 1. It does keep it all together. Thing equals line dot split. Oh, but you can split it further. Oh my gosh. You can kind of tell it what to split out, I guess. Print thing. First, second, third. Print length thing, and now it's 3. When you do not specify a delimiter, multiple spaces are treated like one delimiter. You specify what delimiter character to use in the splitting.
A couple of bits about this and how it works. Split with no parameters here, it looks for spaces, but it also treats a bunch of spaces as a single space. And so it's pretty smart about that. And so even though this has a lot of spaces between lot and of, you only see lot of, all the spaces are gone. It does something special about spaces. It's really white space, so tabs or new lines or other characters would also qualify in split, basically. Now, you don't always have to split based on spaces, and a lot of data that you're going to run into, you're going to want to split on something else. And so here's some data that looks like we're using colons to separate the first, second, and third piece. Now, if you just call split, split's looking for spaces. And so split gives you back a list of the things broken apart with spaces, but there's not a single space in that line. Oh. And so we get a list. See, it's a list, but there's only one item, and the semicolons are sitting there. Split doesn't go like, whoa, this looks like it should be semicolons. You know, split's job is to use spaces.
He tripped me up by saying, like, see, it's a list or something.
But there's only one item, and the semicolons are sitting there. Split doesn't go like, whoa, this looks like it should be semicolons. You know, splits, but there's not a single space in that line, and so we get a list. See, it's a list, but there's only one item, and the semicolons are sitting there. Split doesn't go like, whoa, this looks like it should be semicolons. You know, split's job is to use spaces and split the string based on spaces. Okay? But given that this is something we like to do, you can tell split what character you'd actually like to split on. Now, it's not quite as clever when splitting on something other than spaces. It doesn't understand that, you know, if there's a bunch of semicolons in a row, it still thinks of those as splitting points to split. But in this particular case, where there's no spaces, you know, and it's going to split that. So it says split this based on the semicolon, instead of being based on the space. And so if you take a look at what comes out of this, we split on semicolon. Now we have a 3-item list, and we get first, second, and third. And a lot of your data comes out of some logging system or some router status updates. Who knows what you're looking at? But the delimiter is often something other than space.
And you can, sorry, I was in my head.
And you'd actually like to split on one item, and the semicolons are sitting there. Split doesn't go like, whoa, this looks like it should be semicolons. You know, split's job is to use spaces and split the string based on spaces. Okay? But given that this is something we like to do, you can tell split what character you'd actually like to split on. Now, it's not quite as clever when splitting on something other than spaces. It doesn't understand that, you know, if there's a bunch of semicolons in a row, it still thinks of those as splitting points to split. But in this particular case, where there's no spaces, you know, and it's going to split that in a row, it still thinks of those as splitting points to split. But in this particular case, where there's no spaces, you know, and it's going to split that. So it says split this based on the semicolon, instead of being based on the space. And so if you take a look at what comes out of this, we split on semicolon. Now we have a 3-item list, and we get first, second, and third. and a lot of your data comes out of some logging system or some router status updates. Who knows what you're looking at, but the delimiter is often something other than space, and you can do that with split. So this is a useful thing when parsing things like our email address, right? We wanted to get things like the email address, this second piece.
Stephen.marquard f-and equals open and Bartsch.text. So that opens a file for line and f-and. Line equals line.strip. So that strips the white space. If the line does not start with from continue, so grab everything after continue. Words. Words equals line dot split. So that breaks up the spaces, right? Boom, 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 boom. Print words 2. So the one in the second position. So 1, 0, 0, 1, 2. Line equals from. Line equals from. You could just paste all that in there, I guess. Words equals line dot split. So that breaks it up. Print words from Stephen.
Off of the line. And so we can use split to take advantage of this. And so here's a little loop that's just going to print out and so we can. So this is a useful thing when parsing things like our email address, right? We wanted to get things like the email address, this second piece, off of the line. And so we can use split to take advantage of this. And so here's a little loop that's just going to print out not the email addresses, but instead the day of the week. We're going to print the day of the week out for all these things. How do we do that? Well, we can observe really quickly that if we split based on spaces, it's the 0, 1, 2. It's the 2 position. So we can quickly write a bit of code that opens the file, then loops through the lines. We do this all the time now. Strip takes off the end of the new lines. We can check to see if it starts with from space, right? From space is our key, so we're ignoring all of the lines that don't start with from space. But then we find a line that starts with from space, and we split it, and then we just print out the second word. And so we get the second word of the lines that start with from, and that's how this thing works. Now, sometimes
double split pattern. Sometimes we split a line one way and then grab one of the pieces of the line and split that piece again. From Stephen, words equal line dot split. Email equals words 1. Okay.
As we want to dig into deeper, and we will take something, split it, and then split another piece of it again with a different delimiter. So let's just say that the thing that we want to achieve is getting the part after the @ sign for email addresses. And we did this with, again, find and pose and stuff like that, but you can use split to do this as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this line, we're going to split it based on spaces, right? Chop, 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 chop. And the fact that there's an extra space there doesn't matter. Split happily just like zooms through that. And then words sub 1, 0, 1, 2. Word sub 1 is this email address. So we'll put that in a variable called email. And so email will be a string that's just this. So in 2 lines, we've pulled out this second address into a variable.
Cool.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to re-split that.
Pieces equal email dot split at. So that boom, boom. Okay.
We're going to take this string we've got and split it based on @ sign because we know it's an email address. So we get a new set of pieces. The first part is the person's name, and the second part is the host name that their email is hosted on. And then what we can do then is we just happen to know that this is the 0 item and this is the 1 item. So we can
print pieces 1, no 0. Yeah.
get at that. So the interesting thing of going here, if you think back to how we did this before with find and pose and all that stuff, it's really a lot cleaner. And we don't, for me, I can look at this after you understand it, and it's easy for me to understand that it's correct. Whereas that pose stuff, you got to add one and start the second find after. Just remember that. And this is a lot cleaner way. And this is a more typical way of pulling this kind of information out of a line. So in this chapter, we've talked about lists. We've talked about the concept of collections. That's our first data structure. We're not just doing algorithms. We kind of know algorithms now. But now we're going to do data structures. And this chapter and the next 2 chapters are our foundational data structures. And then we'll, like everything, we'll make more complex data structures by composing those data structures together. We've looked at how strings and lists connect together and how split works. And these are all really powerful tools that we're going to use going forward.
Sweet. We'll do this.
Hello and welcome.
What does n equal in this code? Words equal pieces of words dot split. Now that we know what split means, yesterday we didn't know what split meant. 1 or 0, 1, 2, 3. Pieces 3. Parts equals pieces. Ooh, I gotta think about this one. Hold on a second. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, that's this bit. But then you're splitting that up again. Parts 1. So it's just taking, it's splitting everything. So it's got a Q on the, it's like Q and then the lar, whatever. So 0, 1. N equals parts 1. So it's the lar. Yeah. Cool.
Welcome to.
We may just follow along in this because I don't want to be up very much longer. Excuse me. As I was like thinking during the video, I think I'm just gonna hit the hay after this. And so, yeah, because like I said, I have to get up in the morning and I'll work on this stuff tomorrow. But for the most part, I think. So yeah, we may just follow along with this.
Python for Everybody. I'm Charles Severance, and now we're going to take a look at how we would write some code to do some parsing, read some data. As a matter of fact, we're going to read through our famous mailbox data, look for lines that begin with from space, and extract the third word. As a matter of fact, we already have some of this code already written. We're going to debug it. We're going to look at code and we're going to debug it. So here we go. Here we have it, and it's a pretty basic program. It opens a file, loops through the file, throws away the white space, splits it into words, and checks to see if the 0th word, the first word, is from, and if it's not, we skip and read the next line. And otherwise, if we find a line that starts with from space, then we print the third word, which is word sub 2.
I don't think I did that one. Anyhow, let's just copy what he has. That should work. Oops. Okay. If words is not from that's something for line and line equals line dot r strip WDS equals line dot split. So if like the very first word is not from continue, print what comes after from, really, right? Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we've got, and we carefully saved this file into the same folder that we've got, ex08. And so let's go ahead, cd desktop Python for everybody, ex_08. And so this is some files. We got our day of the week Python and our inbox short, so that's sitting there, okay? And so let's run this program. This is the program that we've got right here, Python 3 dow.py, and it doesn't work. Now,
I have to do this in here. Python 3. What I save it as 11. There's gonna be a problem, huh? Good. It's right there. Does it need to be on the desktop again?
By now you've seen a few tracebacks, and there you go. So, you know, when you look at a traceback, you think to yourself, well, I made a mistake, and you've gotten pretty good at looking.
Is it dot text? Is that what it is? I just want the same error that he had, you know what I mean? Hey, that's the same one, I think. Hey.
At that line. So there you are. You're like, this is the line. There must be something wrong on this line.
If.
And you want to change it. But that line's not actually the problem in this particular thing. And so you got to be careful sometimes. And one of the things that you didn't notice in this one right away is that it actually worked. It printed the first line out. So if we take a look at our data set.
Oh, crud, it did.
It found the line started with from space, it split it, and printed out the third word. And it blew up later. And so part of the problem is that we don't know what it was doing when it blew up. And so the first thing I'd like to do in this kind of a situation is find the line and make sure there's a print statement right before it. And so I'm going to print words, colon, and then comma WDS. I want to print right before the line that blows up so that I know really when this finally does blow up what was going on in that line. So I'm going to run it again.
Okay.
And Oop, did I forget to save it? No, I forgot to save it. Look at that. See the little blue dot? Forgot to save it. So now we see a whole bunch of output, and we see that it's actually doing a whole lot of work before it's blowing up. And so you see that it prints the words out from that first line and prints out Saturday, which is exactly what we expect. It's the third word in the line. And then reads a whole bunch of stuff, and it's actually, what's doing now is ignoring. Let me just put something here. I'm going to say print ignore, so I can keep track of when these lines are being ignored. So let's run it again and have the word ignore pop up, right? And so it's doing a lot of ignoring.
What? Okay. Oh, cool.
It finds these words, prints out Saturday, reads this line and ignores it, reads this line and ignores it, reads this line and ignores it. So a lot of stuff's going on here that you might not realize. And so we have to take a look at what the problem is. And so it is now blowing up word sub-zero, and now we can scroll down and we can look at exactly what happened right before the traceback. So we really now know exactly what happened before the traceback. And the interesting thing is that there is an empty string. I mean empty array. There's an array with 0 items. So I'm going to print the line out to scroll down. This line ignores it. Of ignoring, it finds these words, prints out Saturday, reads this line and ignores it, reads this line and ignores it, reads this line and ignores it. So a lot of stuff's going on here that you might not realize. And so we have to take a look at what the problem is. And so it is now blowing up word sub-zero, and now we can scroll down and we can look at exactly what happened right before the traceback. So we really now know exactly what happened before the traceback. And the interesting thing is that there is an empty string. I mean empty array. There's an array with 0 items. So I'm going to print the line out too. Print line colon. Now I haven't changed my program at all. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. So I'll save that and I'm going to run it. And we've got a lot of stuff and it's still working. It reads a line. It reads a line, splits it into words, and then prints out Saturday, which is the third word on the line.
Hold on.
Empty string. I mean empty array. There's an array with 0 items. So I'm going to print the line out too.
Oops.
Print line colon. Now I haven't changed my program at all. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. So I'll save that and I'm going to run it. And we've got a lot of stuff and it's still working. It reads a line. It reads a line, splits it into words, and then prints out Saturday, which is the third word on the line. Now here it reads a line, and this line is a blank. It reads a line, splits it into words, and then prints out Saturday, which is the third word on the line. Now here it reads a line, and this line is a blank line. And it has, because it's a blank line, the split returns no words, and that's what blows up. And the problem now is, oh wait a sec, list index out of range.
Okay.
So word sub-zero is not valid, which is the first word, when there are no words. So this is a statement that works most of the time. Now you might think, oh, I want to just put a try and except in there. Well, the right thing to do is to say to yourself, oh, wait a second. If I don't have enough words, if the length of the words is less than 1, continue.
Oh.
So basically it's going to come through here, it's going to split it, and if we don't have any words, meaning it's a blank line, then we're going to skip it. So let's run that. So now this ran all the way to the end. It did a lot of stuff, and it did not blow up.
Okay. So whoa. No trace back. I think. Cool.
Then we're going to skip it. So let's run that. So now this ran all the way to the end. It did a lot of stuff, and it did not blow up. Specifically, didn't have a traceback. Another way to protect this would be...
Well, now... Okay, so that's why it's just like line, nothing there. Words, nothing. Line. Right. We just told it what to do with the nothing. Cool.
We'll take this part out. This is called a guardian pattern.
Guardian pattern?
Right? Guardian pattern, because this is dangerous. This could blow up, but this... It won't blow up if it makes it past here, and it won't come through there under the conditions that are causing it to blow up. Another way to do this might be to protect it as follows. To say, oh, wait a sec. If the line is a blank line, no, continue. So now what we're going to do is we're going to skip blank lines.
Wait, so we got rid of the if or the less than. Let's do that. We're just following along. Okay, cool.
I even say this.
It's like a different way of doing the same.
Print, skip, blank.
Oops.
So if it's a blank, we're going to skip blank and keep going. This will skip blank lines. It'll come through here, and this will skip lines that don't have from. But because we're not processing blank lines, word sub 0 always works. So I can run this code, and it works again. So print, skip, blank. So if it's a blank, we're going to skip blank and keep going. This will skip blank lines. It'll come through here, and this will skip lines that don't have from. But because we're not processing blank lines, word sub 0 always works. So I can run this code. We'll skip blank lines. So if it's a blank, we're going to skip blank and keep going. This will skip blank lines. It'll come through here, and this will skip lines that don't have from. But because we're not processing blank lines, word sub 0 always works.
Okay.
So I can run this code, and it works again. So here we have a blank line, we skipped it. Here we have a blank line, we skipped it. Now here we had a non-blank line, so we parsed it, but then we ignored it. And then up here we'll find a from somewhere. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's find a from. Here it comes. Oh, no, there's ignore, ignore. I got too much debug print. I can't find it. Here, I'll just hunt for from with find. Okay, so there we go. There's from, and we print the thing out. So we're getting a lot of extra stuff. So I'm gonna comment out some of these debugs, and I'm actually just going to get rid of this whole skipping of the blank line. I'm going to do it with the words. I'm going to go back to the guardian we had before. If the number of words that we got, len of words, is less than 1, continue. Okay, so now this is going to be a working program. Oops. I gotta take another print statement out. Gotta take another print statement out. We sort of know what we're doing here. Okay, so this looks like a pretty safe thing. This guardian is protecting this dangerous. I'll get rid of that one too.
Whoa.
This is the words that was. God. now this is going to be I gotta take another print statement.
Did I not? Oh, whoops. Good gracious. Hey, look at that.
Okay, so this looks like a pretty safe thing. This guardian is protecting this dangerous. I'll get rid of that one too. This is the words that are traced back, and nothing else in this thing changed from when we started except we've added this little guardian. Now the interesting thing is if it comes through here and prints word sub 2, what happens if somehow we find a line that has from as its first word and there's only one word on, this is going to blow up. So we can make our guardian a little stronger. And we can say, you know what, we're gonna skip this line if it doesn't have 3 words in it. So it has to have at least 3 words. And if we see less than 3 words, we're going to skip it. And that just makes the guardian a bit stronger. And so the program works safely. And you see these things where sometimes you want to check to see that your assumptions about the data are reasonable and skip things where the data is not reasonable. Now so that's one guardian pattern. Let me show you a slightly different way to do this. And this is with an OR statement. So I'm going to take this code, copy that, and put it here with OR. Get rid of all this stuff.
What?
Well, this is the guardian in a compound statement. So what we're saying is if there are less than 3 words on the line, or if the first word is not from, continue. Now,
what do you do if 3 or? Oh my gosh.
we're doing this in order because the way it works is OR is true if either that's true or this is true, but words on the line, or if the first with OR. Get rid of all this stuff. Well, this is the guardian in a compound statement. So what we're saying is if there are less than 3 words on the line, or if the first word is not from.
Okay.
Continue. Now, we're doing this in order because the way it works is OR is true if either that's true or this is true, but if it knows that this is true, then it doesn't bother checking this. And the checking of this is what blows up, what causes the traceback. So if we flip this order, it would fail if we do it.
If words, or if the first one's not from. Okay. And that's because there was one. Yeah.
Do it in this order, it will work. So let's do this one right.
So why would
it works?
Blow
but
up?
if I get this backwards,
oh, thank you.
it's going to check this before it checks this, and we're going to go back to
Just watch
failing again. So you got to get the order of these things right. The guardian is going to check this before it checks this. Back to failing again. So
because of the whole blank line thing. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it is. So then it's like if the length of words is less than 3, skip it. And then if if it starts with from, basically.
You got to get the order of these things right. The guardian comes before in the or. The guardian.
Print 2. I'm just trying to understand. So it's like 0, 1, 2. Yeah.
Guardian comes before. And if this is true, then it doesn't check this. This is called short circuit evaluation. Comes before in the or. The guardian comes before. And if this is true, then it doesn't check this. This is called short circuit evaluation, where it knows that as long as this part's true, it doesn't evaluate this second part. And so now we have a guardian in a compound statement. You'll see this a lot. Sometimes if it's more complex, you do it in multiple statements, or you fall through, check for sanity, and you'll see this a lot. Sometimes if it's more complex, you do it in multiple statements, or you fall through, check for sanity, and only run the code. So I hope that was useful to you, looking a little bit about how to debug, where you don't just start chopping on the line that had the problem. It's not always that line, because we never did change that line. Although we did change it a little bit at the end, we added this guardian here, but we also fixed it without it. Sometimes you debug where you don't just start. Sometimes if it's more complex, you do it in multiple statements, or you fall through, check for sanity, and only run the code. So I hope that was. Sometimes if it's more complex, you do it in multiple statements, or you fall through, check for sanity, and only run the code. So I hope that.
Oh. So he's talking about.
As long as this part's true, it doesn't evaluate this second part. And so now we have a guardian in a compound statement. You'll see this a lot. Sometimes if it's more complex, you do it in multiple statements, or you fall through, check for sanity, and only run the code. So I hope that was useful to you, looking a little bit about how to debug, where you don't just start chopping on the line that had the problem. It's not always that line, because we never did change that line. Although we did change it a little bit at the end, we added this guardian here, but we also fixed it without it. Sometimes you add some print statements to figure out what's going on before you just start chopping on that line. So again, I hope this helps. Thanks.
Cool. Done with that. We are done. I had this up earlier. This is actually the footage for one of the things I have down here. This isn't like my footage. I don't own this. I'm just going to put that down there. That is a test video that I'm making for somebody. I might start doing work for them. But that is going to do it for today. It's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. There we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment if you have a prayer request. I'd like to be able to pray for you guys, or just I'd like to be able to have the opportunity to know how I can be praying for you guys. however you should phrase it. Technically, I'm able to. I just don't know what to pray for. So let me know. Please like and subscribe as well if you want. Love God. Love people. This has been the weirdest stream that I've had so far. But that's okay. Life happens. Weird streams happen. But thank you guys. I will catch you guys. You know what? I'll see you guys soon.